guys, welcome to my kitchen. Tomorrow, Dustin and I are gonna take a little road trip down to Kansas to visit some family. And so I thought I'd make it a great opportunity to kind of share with you how you can keep it clean, healthy, and delicious while you're on the road. And believe it or not, this is the same way that I prep and prepare when I travel even by air. So regardless of how long you're on the road, how far you're gonna be traveling by air, you can still skip the truck stops, you can still skip over the Mickey D's and the Subways and all that stuff, and eat healthy, nutritious, and delicious by packing some food, homemade food, in some Tupperware. So it does take a little bit of planning and preparing, but other than that, it's pretty easy and straightforward. So Dustin and I are gonna be on the road for at least 3.5 hours, potentially longer depending on how many stops we need to make with Gavin. But regardless, we're gonna be in and out. We won't be needing to pick up any food at the gas stations or the truck stops or the Mickey D's. We'll just reach for our back seat and into this cooler here, and we'll have plenty of healthy, nutritious, and delicious food available. Plus, Gavin likes this stuff too, so it'll be wonderful for him to enjoy some snacks, healthy snacks too, with us. So this morning I went to the grocery store. I got myself a roast. I've had it in the crock pot, cooking on low for several hours now. And I'm just gonna slice and dice it and get it ready, put it in my Tupperware, let it cool, and I'll set it in the fridge overnight. So we all know that when we travel, things can be a little bit chaotic. Sometimes you may oversleep or you don't realize that you have a little bit more packing to do than you thought. And so food might be the last resort. But if you plan and prepare and get stuff sliced and diced and ready to go the night before, you get it in the Tupperwares and you throw it in your fridge, then all you have to do is get everything set out and literally pull it out of the fridge, put it in your cooler, throw some ice on top, shut it, and walk out the door. So it does take for a little bit of planning, but it really is convenient at the end of the day. And you will find yourself feeling much better and more energized and less guilty if you pack your own food. So I'm gonna get the roast out of the crock pot here. So in this crock pot, I had just some water and I have a bunch of spices. I went without the broth or bouillon cubes this time. I do have a whole onion that I just threw in for some flavor. I'm not gonna pack the onion. I'm just gonna take the good stuff and use that for my Tupperware for the road. So this is fairly warm, so you obviously don't wanna put it into the fridge. You know, as it's warm, you wanna slice it, dice it, and put it in your Tupperware, let it cool before you put it in the fridge. And I like roast because it's flavorful and it's just easy. It doesn't make a mess in your car. It's finger food. So I'm just gonna literally, I mean, this is a nice little piece kind of broken off itself, but I'm just gonna slice it into chunks here. And that way we can just kind of grab. It's just literally falling apart. That's what you want. And you don't necessarily have to have roast. Really any meat will work. You can have chicken, you can have steak, you can have pork, you know, you can take things off the bone. Whatever's gonna turn into some sort of finger food that won't make a mess in the car and get all over yourself while you're driving, to make things just easier, more convenient, and a little bit more safe. That's the route you wanna go. I'll just leave that cool and then eventually we'll put it in the Tupperware. Okay, so while the roast is cooling, I'm gonna prepare the other items that I bought at the grocery store. I got some fruits and vegetables, again, fingery type foods. And one of the really cool things about shopping for bagged vegetables is I always look for resealable bags so that I can just either haul these with me, or in this case, I'll use some of the bags, but I'll also put some of it in Tupperware. So it's just kind of a nice thing. You don't have to really worry about it spilling everywhere. It's like a free baggie. And then I have some fruit in here too that I've already got sliced and diced. If you participate in my nutritional lifestyle challenges, you already know this secret about me, but every time I bring fruit home, the very first thing that I do is I immediately slice and dice and put it in a Tupperware. A lot of times when you're hangry for dinner and you're waiting for it to get done, we reach for the most convenient things, right? The bags of chips, the chips and guac, the salsa. Not me. I reach for fruit or vegetables that I already have sliced and diced and ready to go. And it doesn't take long to get you a little bit full and just kind of hold you off until dinner's ready. So that's a little tip of mine. But I have watermelon here. Underneath all of this, I have some fresh pineapple, some strawberries, some grapes, and some blueberries. So these little Tupperware, I have 4 of them. So 2 are gonna be for vegetables and 2 will be for fruits. And this will be enough for Dustin and I and Gavin. Again, we're traveling about 3.5 hours, maybe longer. And hopefully if we don't eat it all, we'll have some for the trip home too. So we'll do the fruit first. And Gavin loves watermelon, so I'm gonna just kind of pick what I have on top here. And half of a nectarine, and then I'm just gonna kind of dig underneath and I'll just grab a handful of whatever comes. And again, finger food. Whoop, there goes a blueberry. Finger food, so think of things that won't get your car dirty, you dirty, won't spill on your lap, things like that. So that's 1 container. And all it takes is just a little snack to keep you feeling full. Perfect. All right. And then in my second container here, I'll wash my hands real quick. We'll load up some vegetables. So I have separate containers for everything because fruits and vegetables don't really pair well together. You could put roast with some vegetables, but I like to just kind of keep everything separate so it's just easy to identify. And then you know that the food doesn't blend and kind of intermix and intertwine and you get a funky pepper taste with a pineapple. So just kind of keep things separate and organized. In this bag here, this was actually a mini pepper bag. I just threw in some carrots. These are already washed, so I could just haul all of this. But I'm just gonna take a little bit out of here and a little bit out of this bag. But if you're going for a picnic or whatever, like this'll work great. Nice little free baggies to haul with you. And I love cucumbers, so I'm definitely packing a bunch of these. And if you have more room in your cooler, you have more kids to haul in the car, you can definitely afford to get bigger Tupperwares. These are just nice and stackable. Again, we're not going for a very long trip, but it's long enough. But I like to just have this little cooler, right behind me in the back seat, so I can just grab something easily, conveniently, and safely, and just get right to snacking. So again, avoid any other unnecessary stops. So then after I have what I need packed, we're just gonna get the roast in the other container. And these are kind of color coded too, so this wasn't intentional by any means, but I have all green in the green container. So I have celery and cucumbers in here. I have orange or yellow in the orange container, and then my fruits in the multicolor. No, I'm kidding, that was definitely intentional. So that's just how I roll, but you don't have to be that way. And these Tupperware are great. They seal great. They stay sealed. You can overload them and they're still gonna close on you. Nice, awesome Tupperware. And then again, here's what I'm gonna do. Just so we have extra, and even if we don't, then I know that I have something healthy while we're visiting family with me at all times. I'm just gonna set these on top of my Tupperware and put the ice on top. You don't want these underneath your Tupperware. It'll smash, and then when the ice starts to melt, you'll have nothing but watered down vegetables sitting at the bottom of your cooler. So I'm gonna pack these with me anyway, even though they didn't make the Tupperware cut. And then we'll finish up our roast here. So it's still pretty warm. Once this cools off, again, it won't fall apart anymore. So finger food for the win. So you're probably wondering, well, Stacy, how do you eat the roast? You're gonna have to microwave it at a truck stop anyway, so you're gonna be making a stop regardless. Actually, I won't be stopping at the truck stop. Roast is also very good cold and chilled, so that's one of the reasons why I made it and prepared it for the road. So it's great in the airplane, it's great in the car. It can be eaten at room temperature or it can be eaten cold, and it's delicious that way. So I'm just gonna demonstrate how this fits in my cooler. This will all be going back in the refrigerator. Like I mentioned, I get it all packed the night before, so the next morning, all I have to do is reach and go and then hit the road. So this is just your standard, I don't know, Rubbermaid cooler. My roast is gonna go on the bottom. You want lids that seal again because you're gonna have ice that's gonna melt, so you don't want anything on top. And then I always pack as much water as I can. So if I can get a few more in here, I'm gonna make it work. That's a little trick too. If ever you run out of room, you'll have more room if you turn them upside down. And then make sure your bags are sealed. So these are gonna go on top. Ice will go on top, and then I'll probably sprinkle some underneath. So you also don't want to forget your utensils, of course, and your napkins. Maybe if you need to, a paper plate or something. I'm that girl that packs all that stuff even when I fly. So I have packed those Ziploc baggies full of fruits and vegetables. Those Tupperware container are great. They just kind of slip right into your book bag. I've never had TSA take anything away from me. So matter of fact, I think people are kind of jealous of the food that I do bring on flight with me. Maybe you need to cut that out. But regardless, the food is not going to go bad, so don't worry about, unless you're traveling for a whole full day, you're more than likely gonna get hungry between the time you wake up and you actually get into the plane. So a lot of times, I know I'm hungry before the water and the peanuts and the pretzels even get there. So I just reach for the delicious, nutritious homemade food that I brought with me. And I can just grab the water when it comes by or drink what I brought with me and say, I'll pass on the nuts and the pretzels and the cookies. So you can still make it work when you fly. It's great to have with you when you're on the road. And so next time you're traveling, I encourage you to kind of prep, get some stuff prepared, and pack your own cooler and enjoy the trip. So the next time you're traveling by road or air, I really hope you think of me and use these tips and tricks I provided you today to make your road trip and airplane flight that much more healthier. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop me a line. Be happy to chat with you. And if you love this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you again next time.